This is going to need editing. Hi, and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, Knit and Crochet is FreeForm is a crafty love to love design. All the places you can find me listed right down below this video. This is my channel where I talk about knitting, crochet, all that fun crafty stuff, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. I think we are finally episode 70. I think. Happy New Year. It is January 2nd when I'm recording this. I have tried to film videos before this, but it's just like been that fun, crazy holiday season and that weird week after Christmas before the New Year's that just things didn't get done. So I have a lot of crafting to show you, and I'm so excited to share with you all the fun crafty things. So let's just dive right in. So if you have a project, a drink, a snack, whatever, sit back and let's just talk about crafty stuff because there's a lot of it. First, what I am wearing, I am wearing this free-formed sweater that I made quite a bit ago. It's got some pretty lace on the bottom, just a simple circular yoke top down, and it's got long sleeves and ribbing, very simple. So, and it's really comfy. It's knit out of Yarn Bee, must be Merino DK, I think. I don't remember the colorway name, but it's super nice, and I've really been loving these it's a blend of merino wool, acrylic, and nylon, and it's just really warm. It's just a great like one layer. Like I'm just wearing a tank top under this, so it's really nice and it keeps you warm. So that's what I'm wearing, and I guess I honestly don't even know where to start. There's just so much stuff, and yeah, I guess we'll try and start with finished objects. I think I have a lot of socks to talk about. So let's see. I think that I was still working on these socks last time I saw you. So these are my Skipping Stone socks. This is a pattern in my garter stitch sock collection. A like step above vanilla sock is what I call it. In my garter stitch sock collection features 3 patterns with these simple knit purl textures. This is the first one, Skipping Stones. And I've been knitting up some new samples of this pattern just to kind of the yarn I first designed the pattern in is discontinued, so I wanted to just make some new samples, make it a little bit pretty. And so I've been knitting these 3 patterns up again. So now I have the whole set complete. So we have Skipping Stones, Tripping Hazard, which is this fun zigzag, and Kick Strip, which is these little triangles. I hope the lighting is good. It's kind of coming in, like it's clear outside, but my room only has one window, and it's not a very big window, and my screen just went dark. Hold on. Okay. It's so hard to tell on my phone. I film on my phone, and sometimes like I must have the automatic brightness, so it'll change the lighting, and it looks really dark. I hope the lighting's okay, but we're going with it. It's the first time I've had like the room to myself to film quietly, so we're just gonna go straight ahead. And yeah, anyway, so this is my garter stitch sock collection, and the colors, these are all knit out of Knit Pictorial Tonal. The colors are Heartfelt Tonal, Thunderhead Tonal, and there's always one you can't remember. Oh, this is one of my favorites, Frozen Tonal. That's it. It must be Frozen, I think. So anyway, that's these socks. They're all complete. These 2 were completed before, but I think I just finished this one. It was on my wall for a long time. But I've been knitting quite a lot of socks. So yeah, this is the first finished object, this one, and this is all completed, and you can see the garter stitch sock collection if you're interested in my Ravelry shop, which will be linked below. But just really fun, simple knit purl textures, which I love because a good texture just makes it go faster, but it's also mindless, but it's also not just vanilla knitting. I don't know, it's the best, but yeah. And I knit all my socks on a 2.75mm needle, which is a US 2.5, I believe. And I do my shortcut heel, which is a heel construction with no show rows, in garter or stockinette. You can do either one. It's such a great, I love my shortcut heel. And these socks have my hat trick toe, just a very simple rounded toe. I have not done this in a while. I feel like I'm blabbering on, but that's like I also have a basic sock recipe with my shortcut heel. Actually has my standard toe, not my hat trick toe, but like the basic sock recipe. Wow, this is gonna need editing. Moving on. So I've been knitting a lot of socks because I actually, one of my Christmas presents to one of my siblings, my sister who also knits, I ordered her from Knitpicks, like just a bunch of little notions and things. And because Knitpicks offers free shipping when you hit a certain number, I had to throw in some yarn for myself too, so I could get the present for my sister. This is how websites get you. They say if you reach a certain number, you get free shipping. And you're like, I don't want to lose out. So I ordered I think it's the fall pack of Felici. So I have a bunch of self-striping now that I've been loving knitting up. So the first one I knit up, which I think was actually a Christmas Eve cast on, is this colorway, which I had the tags and I did not bring them over while I'm podcasting. I think it's something gelato. I don't know, they're all on the Knitpicks website still. But it's this really, I actually don't know how I feel about this colorway, if I'm honest. I've actually been a little bit surprised with the colorways of Felici lately, the ones I'm knitting up so far. Like, I was surprised this one had a repeat of this color. Like, it goes from this orange, this yellow, this brown, pink, back to brown, and then purple. Which, I don't know how I feel about the repetition of colorway. In the skein, I just assumed that these would be two different colors. Like, one of these would be a gray, but it's the same color, which is very interesting. It's not bad, it's just very interesting that I don't think I've ever had one that repeated the color way. I know a lot of people say like where they'll have two colors that are really close together, like they're very similar tones, but I don't think I've ever had it where they repeated a colorway. So I don't know. I'm not particularly in love with this colorway, but I gave it an orange mini. This is just a yarn bee mini. And these will be a pair of socks for my sister, my little sister. I gave her a pair of socks for Christmas, and she talks about how it's only second to her first favorite pair of socks, which is a rainbow pair that I made her for her birthday. So she needs more socks. She has proven she's knitworthy. So these will be for her. Either I'll hold them back for her birthday, or I will give them to her soon because she's been loving socks, hand-knit socks. So, and this is my shortcut heel in stockinette. So that's one pair of finished socks. And then we'll just keep on the sock train, I think. I think this is my last finished object, and then I just have a lot of projects, which will be another thing we'll talk about. So this is another pair of Felici, and I knew this colorway. I checked the tags multiple times. I want to say grape juice, but that's not right. I don't know. I'm sorry. This is another pair of Felici socks, and the same thing as the other one, though I have been trying to, I only got one pack, so each Felici comes in 50 grams. So I've only been using, that's why I've been using minis, because I only have one skein of the Felici, which is 50 grams. So I've actually been really surprised how long I've been getting the yardage out of it. So for these, I only did 3 stripes on the leg, and I had a bunch left over. Like a good, I think, maybe over 15 grams. I want to say 20, but that might not be right. And so this, I extended it. I tried to do 4 stripes in the leg, because these are also cuffed down. I did these cuffed down. And for this colorway, I was surprised again at the Felici stripes. So this is what I mean when they put very similar tones. Actually, when I was doing the second sock, there are 2 socks here. When I was doing the second one, it was really hard for me to start where the stripe was, because I couldn't tell if it was this color or this color, and I wanted them to match. So it was really hard. So they're very similar tones here. Then they have this, it almost looks like it's supposed to be 2 different colors, but it ends up looking like one big stripe. So it's very interesting. I don't know how to, it's just not what I expect with Felici. Like, it's usually 5 to 6 stripes per repeat of different colors. So when they flip it on you, you just feel a little bit confused, but it's not bad when I see it all together. So very interesting. I kind of like where the big chunks fell. I like how it worked out as I did the repeat. So these ones are for me, and I have big feet. So these are, I do, with my row gauge, it ends up being like 63, 64 rounds, but like that's row gauge. So my foot size for reference and how big my feet are, anywhere from a US 10 to a US 11. And that's double wide. I got big feet. But that gives you an idea of just how how big a pair of socks you can get out of just 50 grams with a contrasting mini. And these minis are 25 grams that I've been using, but I end up only using, I think, oh, I figured it out yesterday because I had leftover and I was curious. I think I only end up using around 20, 15, depending on how long you do your cuff. So you can really get like a full pair of socks with a small mini out of 50 grams of lychee, which is just great. So that's my second pair of socks. And I guess as we go into work, well, maybe we'll take a break from socks because I have 3 baskets in front of me. I have this basket, which has been filled with works in progress for a while. I have this project, which is in a big bag. And I have my little basket, which I take around the house. So these 3 baskets, I'm trying to stay organized and make this seem somewhat cohesive, but that might not be where we end up. Okay, we'll pause on the socks for a little bit because it's easier if I go 1 basket at a time. So my next project is this shawl, which I showed last time and was at the very beginning stages of being a shawl, and it could be done had I continued working on it. Isn't that just how it goes? So here is the shawl, just a simple double crochet shawl, or half double crochet shawl. This is actually one of the shawl constructions included in my 4 crochet shawl constructions, which I have free tutorials here on YouTube, and I have a like little pattern booklet that you can see in my Ravelry Shop if you are curious on how to make different crochet shawl shapes. So this is my top-down triangle, and I decided for the border I wanted something thick and easy, but also textured. So it's quite a fiddly bill to fill. But here is what I decided on, and this is the textured lattice, and this is a stitch pattern I do a tutorial here on YouTube for. I really love this stitch pattern. This is actually DK held double that I'm using this for, because I didn't have a worsted purple that went with this pink. This pink is I Love This Yarn. They're glitter base. I don't remember the colorway name, but that's what that is, and I wanted to pair it with something. So I've kind of gone back and forth on this. I think I'll love it when it's done. I'm almost halfway through, as you can see, but I have not touched this in ages, just because I was working on it at night, and it's just it's a very simple stitch pattern to do. It's slow going when you're doing an attached border. You like overestimate how quickly it will be done. You underestimate how much time it will take, and then you lose momentum. But I'm sure when I pick it up again, I will be surprised at how fast it goes, because I'm doing it on a 6mm hook. Here it is. Lost my hook. That's just what I need. Yeah, 6mm crochet hook. And very simple pattern. So I think I'll love it when it's done. But it's just a little bit slow going at the moment because I haven't picked it up. Because isn't it funny when you want something done and you're just like, why isn't this done? And then you have not touched it and you don't think that could be why. Maybe it gets done if you pick it up. Okay, so that is that, work in progress. And now we'll move on to, I talked about last time wanting to make a circular yoke sweater. So this circular yoke sweater I have this book, Ann Budd top-down sweater book. You'd think by how much I use this book I would remember the title, but I don't. But it's Ann Budd's top-down yoke construction, 4 different ways, something like that. And I used her recipe to do this yoke. But I have recently been trying to understand circular yoke constructions better, like the math behind it, so that I can be more accurate when making up sweater patterns for myself to make, because you can see this neckline is very wide. I always end up hacking the patterns anyway, and just trying to get my perfect measurements with a circular yoke construction is something I've been striving to do, and I talked about last time having figured it out and wanting to make a sweater, and I have done just that. So it's not complete because I started it and was almost done with the body, and then ended up having to, I'm going to have to rip it back a little bit, but last night I forced myself to pick up the sleeve, and now I'm motivated to work on it again. So here is the sweater. I'm so happy because this looks perfect and it's exactly how I want it, and I did the math myself. I'm so happy. And not only did I do the math myself, I actually helped my sister hack a pattern she had for her measurements because her gauge was so different. So I got this sweater yoke down, this circular sweater yoke thing down, and I'm really happy about that because it just opens up a whole world. Circular yoke sweaters, knitting, top down, they are so easy, so mindless when you understand the math behind them. So it just makes it so easy to, like, I want to make a sweater and just throw together a sweater without having to search for a pattern and make adjustments based on your gauge. It's just awesome. So here's the sweater. It flew once I started, and I ended up, it's actually really funny. So this sample flew when I started it, but I ended up having to, so the first time, in true me fashion, I plotted out the math, I did everything correctly, started it, and then realized halfway through the yoke that I made a mistake. Like, I did the wrong increase rate for the first time. For the first round, I messed up my own instructions. But I was curious, so I went on ahead anyway, and ended up having to frog that. Started it again, only to realize that I had, so I did that first one that I made a mistake on. Then I did a second one, trying to, I got an idea from the one I made a mistake on whether or not I could actually make it work. I couldn't make it work. So then I finally went back and followed my original instructions, because that's how you do it. You make mistakes and then you finally go back to what you were right originally. So this is one sample I have left. That this is a whole skein, so I have to frog this. But I think this is the one where yeah, you can see like it's way too wide because I was trying something out. But the neckline is really great, and that's been my biggest problem with circular yokes, because sometimes they start too small, and I end up having to like eliminate an increase round and go back and knit a tighter but yet bigger than it would have been originally neckline. So that's what I was experimenting with till I went back and did what my original plan in the first place. So here's what I decided to do. I decided to put these garter ridges in, which I honestly don't know how I feel. I like it at the neckline. I don't know how I feel about them here, but it's too late now. So I knit the yoke, and then I did the body, and then I started on Christmas Eve actually, I started the ribbing, but I realized that my body was too short. I started the ribbing too early, and I got a little annoyed because I knew to make sure that I was worried about sleeves because I only have 5 skeins, and so I have 1 skein for each sleeve still, but not enough of this yarn to feel comfortable. I don't want to make the body too long, but I don't want it too short. So I decided to put the body on hold and pick up the sleeves, knit those first, and then figure out the body. It'll be easier. But that was a lot of work at the time, so I just threw it in this basket and didn't look at it again until last night, when I forced myself to just simply take the needles out. I didn't even undo the ribbing I did yet, but just I took a clipping marker and clipped this ball to it so I wouldn't have to reattach it later, and picked up the sleeve, and I'm ready to start decreases. So I came up with an idea. I'm going to take this off because I think it's throwing the camera lighting off. I think I came up with a good way of coming up with my sleeve decreases, because sleeves are also something I struggle with. In terms of fit, I say this all the time, I have Lego arms where I don't really have much of a yoke depth. I don't have much of like an upper arm. It looks like my arms are just stuck on my body. A Lego arm, if you will. And so I want my sleeves to look nice on the sweater and not use up too much yarn. Like these sleeves, I think I just knit straight. Oh, did I do decreases? Oh, I did do decreases. Huh. It doesn't feel like it. I don't even know anymore. But it's a very nice fitting sleeve. I'm surprised I did decreases. Maybe I should look what I did for this sleeve and just do that. This is DK. This is worsted. Never mind. So I came up with a good way, and hopefully it will reserve yarn. It'll make a nice fitting sleeve. Yeah, everything should hopefully go according to plan if I follow the plan and not derail by my own, I don't even know my own what. What was I thinking when I knit 2 extra yokes to try something out when I hadn't even knit a perfect first yoke? Not that it had to be perfect, but just like try out my, I don't know if there's a method to my madness. I would love to know the method. So the yarn I'm using is Yarn Bee Must Be Merino Aran in the blue teal colorway. This is my 4th skein. The 5th skein is in that circular yoke. So I think, if I'm correct, that I only use around 60-70 grams per sleeve. I hope that's true. I'm pretty sure that's it. So then I'll have like an extra 30 to 40 grams to put into the body before I do the ribbing. So that's hopefully how it's going to go. I'm using size 9 needles, my Knit Picks nickel plated interchangeables on a 40-inch cord for the sleeve. Yeah, but I'm really proud of this. I'm really happy and just proud that I got the math down for this. Because I have the math down, I know how to like chart out numbers for a raglan for myself. Now I know a circular yoke, and I can do a, what's it called, like the, I don't even, like drop shoulder. And next on the list will be a set-in sleeve, but I don't even know. Set-in sleeves, that's another hurdle for another day, but yeah, I'm really happy with this. So that is that work in progress. And I'm trying not to let the needles clink on the floor, so I'm trying to reach awkwardly to throw it on the mat. Okay, so I think that's actually one basket of projects down for talking about, so I'm just going to move this out of the way. And what else should we talk about? Let's talk about this. So this is a blanket actually in this bag. I love this bag. I don't know, I got it for Christmas, I think 2 years ago now? 3 years ago? I don't even know. 3 years maybe. I think, yes, that's right. I don't know. But it's an awesome bag. It can fit so much. And it's got all these pockets. So, okay. I decided I wanted to crochet a deep ripple blanket. I've made like the softer ripples, like the waves, if you know what I mean, in crochet. I've made 2 of those blankets actually, but I wanted like a deep V ripple. And I couldn't find like just a good like stitch pattern for that. I found one, but it wasn't like she didn't give you a multiple of stitches, so I kind of had to like go figure it out, and I don't know, but I'm coming up with something I really like, and here it is. Oh, it looks so good on camera. So it's not very wide because I had to like figure out the multiple myself, and but I think it'll be a good like throw length. It looks really good on camera. I'm loving it. So I have only one more skein. Like I have these. This is all I have with the yellow. So I think I have some blue in my stash. So I'm going like different variations of blue. So I think I'm gonna do. I'll finish the white stripe, then do like a light blue, dark blue, light blue, another white stripe, and then finish with the yellow. If that's not enough, I think I also have variations of green. So maybe I'll do the blue and the green, and then finish with the yellow, or maybe I don't know, something like that. So it'll just be really fun. Bit of an impromptu interruption, if that's okay. So, as I was saying, that's my plan for the colors, and I think it'll be really nice. It's just double crochet, and I plan to write up the stitch pattern and post it on my blog. So if you want to do the same repeat, then you can. It's really nice. It's just a fun rhythm to work into. What I really like about this is I sometimes feel the need to count my stitches every time, which doesn't make the most fun crocheting, but there's like these landmarks in the work that you can easily see where you need to do your increases or decreases depending where you are in the pattern. So it just makes for a really fun crochet. So I really love that. And I'm also doing this on a 6mm hook. So I think the rest of my works in progress are in this basket. We talked about my sweater. We'll talk about, this is really fun. So I want to do more Tunisian crochet. I did one like complete Tunisian crochet project, and now I'm doing another one. So this project is the Lamia wrap or shawl. I think it's Lamia wrap by TLY Yarn Crafts. And it's a free pattern on her blog. It's so much fun. It's got this super easy texture that's done with the knit and purl Tunisian crochet knit and purl stitch. It's super easy, and it has just regular Tunisian stitch for the body. I'm not very far, but it is really pretty. It feels so nice. I'm using my 6.5 Tunisian hook. Yes, 10.5, 6.5mm. a K. And the yarn is soft blue. I love this yarn. So I actually have 2 skeins of this, I think. Maybe. It's 199 grams per skein. So we'll see how big this gets, but it's really fun. I think I keep saying this, I would love the size, next size up. This is the biggest size in my We Crochet interchangeable set, but I think with worsted I would just love the next size up because it would make just a little bit more drapey. But it is still really nice, and I just really love it. So that's another work in progress, and then the last 2 works in progress I have are both socks. So, fluff on my face. One is another vanilla sock, and the other is a pattern sock. So actually, for Christmas, I got another pair of sock needles. So I can actually have now 3 socks on the needles, which is why I have 2 of the finished fleechy socks. So I can have now like 2 vanilla, 1 patterned, or whatever I want to do. I have my 3rd pair of sock needles is actually ready to cast on another sock project that I will probably be doing later today. But for now, I only have 2, which is probably for the best. So first this is actually a half-finished object. It's another fleechy, and I have the tag for this one. It is in the olive juice colorway. So it's this green silk striping. And here is what I have. I'm doing this one toe up with my toe up shortcut heel sock recipe. And here's the repeat. Super nice. A yarn bee mini for the toe again. And here is a completed sock. So this one, I was actually going to try and get more out of the leg, but actually this yarn, the repeat, started with half a stripe, which actually worked out well because I typically, when I knit a full pair of socks cuff down, I usually end up with half a stripe at the toe. So it kind of worked out really easy. And so I just decided to end it with what I thought was half a stripe. It actually ended up being 1 row off. When I started the next one, I ended with that so I could just start the next color without having to wind any off. So this sock is technically 1 row shorter, but nobody's ever going to know that. So that's all good. This is actually ready for the heel. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 stripes. So I'm interested to see how much yarn I'll have left at the end of this pair. So I do a sewn bind off for my toe up socks. I haven't woven in any ends yet. I've been waiting to weave in all my ends when I finish the whole pair, which probably isn't the best because there are quite a few ends to weave in when you do contrasting heels, toes, and cuffs. So it does take a little bit of time, but I don't know. It's been getting done. It's okay. So I do a sewn bind off. And then for my cast on, I call it the simplest toe up cast on. There's actually a tutorial here on my YouTube. And I just cast on, and then I will sew this closed, and there's no difference, and I don't mess up a toe up cast on. Whenever I do a toe up cast on, I will either twist it, or I will somehow end up with 1 less stitch on 1 needle. That's just, so sometimes it's just easy to not do something. And once I sew this closed, you're not going to be able to tell. I actually do like a whip stitch, and it looks very seamless. You don't feel the seam on the inside, so it's totally fine. Sometimes you have to do what works. But that is this pair of socks. So, and it's just in this little bag that I sewed a while ago. I still haven't sewn any new bags. It's very sad, but it's very pretty. My last work in progress is in this bag, and this is actually the first sock pattern for my lace stitch sock collection. So last year I designed the cable stitch sock collection, and the year before that I designed the garter stitch sock collection. So these are just simple collections of sock patterns featuring a simple stitch pattern or a collection of stitch patterns, whether that be garter stitch, cables, and now I'm doing lace stitches, and it's so much fun. I picked out all the stitch patterns, I have all the yarn ready, and I am doing the first one. And so here's a sneak peek. It's so pretty and so easy. Like, look at this. I love it, and you would not believe how easy this is to do. It's just so much fun. I also tried to pick stitch patterns, not only that they were easy and easy to have, like just a one panel on the front and then it's all plain in the back so that you can really focus on just learning the new stitch pattern, but also ones that wouldn't be like they would be decorative and lace is very open, but also that it wouldn't be like a cold sock to wear. Because you really like to be warm in your hand knit socks, so it's just a little bit of patterning, a little bit open, but I think it's so pretty. I just really love this. So the yarn I'm using to design this lace stitch sock collection is Knit Stroll, and this is the Paisley Heather colorway. So just a solid purple. It's gonna have my shortcut heel. I'm debating between the two toe options, whether or not I want to have the standard toe or the hat trick toe. My hat trick toe is a rounded toe, and I love the fit of that, but for some reason I've really been loving the rhythm of doing a standard toe. And I've been doing that with all the Felici socks, so I'm kind of debating what I'm going to do for the toe. I think I'll just like decide last minute, whatever it is. But I really am in love with this stitch pattern. I was a little worried when I started it whether or not I was gonna like it, but now that I've started and really see it, it's just so nice. And the best thing about it, about a lace pattern, I think, is the most fun thing is when you get into the rhythm of the increases, decreases, and the yarn overs, and you just see where it all goes. It's so easy. I just love it so much. So that is this, and this is just, I'll be honest, I've been kind of really loving the vanilla socks, so I haven't quite got the repeat memorized yet. I keep double checking with the stitch pattern, but it's almost there. I just really need to like just sit down and like finish the leg. By the time I finish the first sock, I will definitely have it memorized, but I keep putting it aside because I've just been loving the vanilla knitting. But every time I look at this, I'm just like, I have to keep going. It's so pretty. So that is my last work in progress. I really think so. So I actually did have another finished object, but it was those Patons Croy blue pair of socks, but I gifted those over the holidays, so I don't have those to show. That was another finished object. I do have one project that I really want to cast on, and this kind of goes into like a yarn haul type, not yarn haul type thing. I did get some yarn over Christmas, but I did not bring it over to show, so I will talk about that next time, because I'm still like racking my brain on what I want to cast on with it. But sort of a acquisition, that's the term, an acquisition I got over Christmas is the Star Wars knitting book. Can you even? I follow quite a few of the designers that on Instagram. I follow some of them who are part of this collection. And so like as it was like getting ready to like be released, like I could see the little snippets so they talk about it. So I'm just so excited to have this. I was so surprised to get it for Christmas. I love it so much. There's so many amazing. It's just amazing. I think it's raining, and I put the trash out, the cardboard boxes, because I didn't think it would rain. So I'm slightly regretting the decision. I have to go fix that. But anyway, back to this. I hope you can't hear the rain. That probably should be my first thought. Oh well, nothing goes according to plan, like I said. So I love this book so much. There's so much in here. Like there were some patterns in here that I didn't even when I had looked at it, I didn't realize how much is in here. It's amazing. So there's so many things I want to make. But the first thing I think that I'm going to make to kind of ease into it is there's a good picture. The Clone Trooper hat. I think this will be a good get my feet wet back into color, because I haven't knit color quite a bit. And like a good, like, I want to make something that when you see it, you're like, that's Star Wars. Rewatching the Star Wars, the first trilogy is on my list of movies to watch this year, because I need to rewatch them. I love the hat so much. The only thing is, I think this is a fingering hat. Yes, it's fingering weight. I'm probably going to do it out of worsted. I think I'm going to use blue and white rather than black and white. And because it is, I figured out the repeat would be easy to hack to do with my stitch count for worsted rather than the fingering. So I'm going to use the colorwork chart, but it's easy to see like the breakdown of stitches. So it should all be good. So that's something that's going to be hopping on the needles probably maybe even today, honestly. Let's be honest here, because I really want to start this. So this is just a fun little acquisition that I wanted to share because I'm just so happy with this book. Like it's such a pretty book. I love stitch pattern books. I love pattern books. They're just so pretty. Like it's so pretty. I'm just going to look at it. I love books. I think that is everything I have to share with you today. I think so. I've been collecting stuff to talk about for a podcast for so long that I keep thinking I've forgotten something, but I don't think I have. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah, I do have like, I wanted to make a video about like my, not necessarily goals for my crafting in the new year, but I do have certain ideas in mind that I want to do, and I actually want to make a sort of like a project journal, if that makes sense. I've tried logging my projects in the past, and it never kept up with it, but I think this year I've come up with an idea of how I want to do it that just kind of helps me keep track of things, because I have plans for things, then I forget the plans for things, then I come back to the plans, forgot my original plan. It's all a mess. So I have ideas for that, and I do want to make a video on that. And if you honestly have any goals, any plans for your crafting, share them down with me below. I would love to hear about them. I do love in the new year coming up with, again, not necessarily goals, because I think there's kind of like a not necessarily very healthy mindset behind, like, you know, the new year, new me kind of slogan thing. That's not it, but just kind of a time to stop, reflect, and go out with new intentions. Not necessarily things that you have to achieve, but just new things you want to focus on, like take a breath and go back in with new intentions. That's kind of my thought behind it, if that makes sense. So that's what I want to do, and like I said earlier, I had plans to do this, so sat down to do different videos so many different times, but it just didn't happen, and that's okay. Because that week between Christmas and New Year's really should just be about, I guess, prepping for when the new year starts and the holiday pause, as it were, ends. So, yeah, a lot of fun ideas that I will hopefully be sharing with you very soon. But that is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, take a moment to comment down below either a new goal or intention, something you're working on, anything down below. I would love to hear about it. I love hearing about things crafty. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy crafting!